bad weather, bad actors, and animals. Right now, the three primary predators to electric power grids nationwide.
Your first focus needs to be prevention.
Brandy Janes is the City of Kalamazoo's emergency manager.
Your job is to be prepared for the worst case scenario that you hope never happens.
Yes, prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Janes is in constant contact with local and state police, along with Homeland Security and FEMA.
So I'll need to get some info from you on the storm ready.
She oversees regular police patrols of soft targets like substations and creates emergency service plans with the Red Cross and United Way. During the Christmas-time blizzard, the power grid was tested and in some cases gave out. Late last year, 2 substations in North Carolina were shot up by vandals, plunging tens of thousands into darkness and proving that power grids are susceptible to sabotage. Homeland Security reports that during the pandemic, there was an uptick in chatter focused on low-tech attacks on power grids nationwide. That's never happened here, and there's no great way to protect so many spread-out assets from criminals bent on destruction.
We would just immediately try to get everybody coordinated to lock down the scene and to get power restored if it does go out.
So coming in from the highest lines there is 130,000 kV of electricity.
There are 60,000 miles of electric lines, 1.6 million power poles, and 1,200 substations in Consumers Energy's territory.
We work on preventing the known threats. The unknown threats are the ones that get you. You can see all the barbed wire and the plastic and the little discs up on the wire. That keeps animals and people from getting in there accidentally and creating outages.
Or not accidentally.
Or not accidentally, yeah.
Vice President Greg Salisbury tells me the best way to defend against any unknown threat is prevention. He says Consumers puts a lot of money and manpower into exactly that.
You got to keep trying to think of the next thing. We spend time doing tabletop exercises to figure out all the what-if scenarios we can think of, and then we'll run an exercise where we might say, the Oakwood substation is down, how would we handle it?
Salisbury says Consumers has a fleet of mobile substations that can be rolled out and connected quickly. And they do aerial surveillance, preventative maintenance, and trim thousands of miles of trees every year.
But not far down the road will be another challenge to our power grids. All electric vehicles, like this BMW iX that I can't afford. However, there are many other inexpensive EVs on the market and many more in development. By all indications, we're at the beginning of a complete EV evolution.
We've made a commitment to power 1 million EVs in our territory here in Michigan by 2030. That's a really good, aggressive target to be sure that the grid is strong enough and smart enough to handle all that charging, whether it's at home or at work or along the highway at a fast charge station.
And while charging an EV sounds expensive, Consumers says, for consumers, it won't cost much more than running your AC. To them, it's a different story. The approaching electric vehicle evolution will require upgrades to the power grid, an added cost that Consumers says they'll try to subsidize.
We know that every dollar matters as people figure out how to pay all those bills. So we're doing everything we can do to make the work more efficient, but also do more of it so that we don't have to raise rates any faster than absolutely necessary to make the system smarter and stronger to be ready for all those EVs and all the other electric transformation that's happening.
It's happening all right. Consumers says it credited some $25 million back to its customers recently to offset the higher cost of natural gas, which also generates electricity and drives up your bill. Currently, Consumers maintains 36 EV fast charges in Michigan, with their charging stations in Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids incidentally getting the most use. To find out more about Consumers' plans for the future and tips on saving money on power, visit our website, WWMT.com.
Breaking news right now.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Andy Dominiani.
And I'm Jessica Hardhorn. We begin tonight with breaking news.
Tonight, News Channel 3 has confirmed that a Paw Paw firefighter has been killed while responding to a report of a downed power line in Van Buren County. We are told this firefighter was electrocuted after coming into contact with the live line.
And we are not releasing the victim's name until we can be sure that the family has been notified. News Channel 3's Autumn Pitcher has more. Autumn?
Yes, Michigan State Police have confirmed that the Pawpaw firefighter died after being electrocuted. And he was transported to Bronson Priority 1 Hospital after that. And this is just one of several thousands of down power lines that we've been seeing all day across the state. A Pawpaw firefighter has died after coming into contact with a down power line tonight, according to Michigan State Police. It happened around 6 p.m. on 30th Street in Pawpaw, police blocking off this road. Thousands of power lines are down across the state tonight as a result of heavy freezing rain on utility lines.
You hear that? Oh my God, man.
Andy Miller, a Kalamazoo resident, came outside when he heard tree limbs falling right next to his home.
Then we were standing right there and the second larger limb dropped, like the tree pretty much almost disintegrated.
Miller says one of the reasons he moved to Millwood is because of the beautiful old trees.
They're silver maples and they're hollow inside, they're old, and they are very brittle.
Crews working on taking care of fallen limbs.
Actually, Asplin has been on this block this week, taking down limbs for the power lines.
Several of Miller's neighbors have lost power, but he feels lucky to still have his lights on. Yes, and just about all of today, we've been noticing down tree limbs just everywhere. And you can actually see them right behind me here. We're in the Millwood neighborhood. There's all kinds of down limbs. You can see the caution tape just throughout here to block it off, just to be sure that people are safe out there. Now, also earlier, a tree limb, quite a large one, actually fell on our News Channel 3 car. So just make sure you're staying careful out there and safe. And of course, as we find out more about the power outages across the state, we'll continue to update you both on air and online.
Right now, credit card debt is at record high levels, with inflation and high interest rates making it even worse. People in northern Michigan are turning to a local agency to get free debt counseling. Our Brendan Kinney introduces us to a mom who's taking advantage of the services and her message to those who need to pay off debt.
Shannon Rossman is learning some new financial lessons with her daughter's future in mind. Shannon is working to pay off debt. Her goal is to buy a house. The journey to home ownership took her to the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency. That's where she's getting free help from a housing coach.
What were your feelings going into this process?
Just excited to move forward. This is a step to me and my daughter living independently.
Shannon lives in Antrim County. It's part of the Northwest Michigan Community Action Agency, or NMCAA's service area. People in these 10 counties can get access to free help.
It can be intimidating if you're not used to doing paperwork or taking care of these things. But that's where the housing coach is. They can help you fill out that paperwork.
Allison Popa has seen an uptick in people needing debt counseling at NMCAA. She points to inflation as a reason.
I like to think of budgeting as healthy living, where it's everybody kind of knows what they could be doing better, kind of where they're getting it wrong, but it's so easy. I already screwed up, I'll start tomorrow. And sometimes tomorrow never comes unless you make it your priority.
Allison suggests using the Pay Yourself First plan.
That's putting your paycheck, taking a percentage of it and putting it right into that savings account before you spend any other money.
Everyone who comes in for individual debt counseling gets a personalized action plan to reach their goal.
Don't expect perfection. Take a couple months to get it right.
Along with debt counseling, NMCAA also offers free services like help with tax preparation.
I think people are often generally surprised because they'll come in for one thing and they don't know how vast the agency is. So they'll get their taxes done. Maybe they'll have an infant and we'll say, oh, have you heard of Early Head Start? Or they're a senior and they qualify for perhaps a food commodity program like Meals on Wheels.
Shannon says she'll be ready to buy a house after one more year of saving.
I'm just super grateful that there is an agency like this. There is education out there. There's help for people that want it. They just have to go after it.